Sweet. Cool. Are we live? Yes, sir. I think we're live. Awesome. Got my cup of iced coffee. There's not much left. And some water. What's going on, chat? Day two of Vibecoding. We're actually going to start today off a little different. We're going to we're going to actually watch a interview with the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Netflix first. Hear her take on AI and how it's affecting Netflix in particular, and then we're going to go into actually Vibecoding, finishing or picking up where we left off with Vegas this weekend. I think that would be a great way for us to start here today. Yeah, so let's get right into it here. Make sure everything's looking good on Twitch and YouTube. I think everything's clean. Just chatting. Music DJ English. Why is it saying music, bruh? I don't like that. It's not music DJ English. It's Vibecoding, yeah, and then product management, yeah. And then what else? Vibecoding, product management. I'm Korean, yeah, Korean American. Let's go. All right, changed up the tags. So now on Twitch we're showing up with Vibecoding, product management, and Korean American in the just chatting. So I think that makes the most sense. And then on YouTube, I don't think we have tags on YouTube, to be honest. Yeah, it just says right. Changed up the tag. Okay, nice. That's working well. Self promotion, easy clap. Dude, what's going on, bro? How you been, man? I've been I feel like I hit what's it called? I send like random Instagram reels and messages and some comments on other platforms with Maroon, but like I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know, life is different. Life is definitely different, but we love it. Now I'm live streaming about work stuff. Crazy. Who would have thought? But yeah, I live out here in Las Vegas now. We're actually going to watch for today's stream. We're going to watch there's 40 minutes left in this interview with the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Netflix. Her name's Elizabeth Stone. She's on a podcast on Lenny's podcast, and she's talking about AI, engineering, product, and how that's impacting the industry as well as Netflix in particular. So I wanted to watch that, and I feel like a lot of people will get some value from it. So we're going to start there. And then afterwards, we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday and continue the Vibecoding with VegasThisWeekend.com. Yeah, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good stream. And yeah, it'll be great. Feel that Marone left me to head back. Yeah, he went East Coast, man. I had to make my way out to dude, anytime you're in Vegas, just hit me up, brother. We'll pick up like nothing ever happened, like time never passed, and I can show you around the local scene. Vegas is a lot of fun, man. Little different. I used to live in LA, so definitely different in terms of the network and like what I do out here, but it's still a really fun time. But glad to hear you're doing well, man. It's I love to hear that. Let's go. That's so exciting, dude. Thanks for popping in. Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected, mate. All right, I'm gonna pull up the YouTube video that I'm looking for us to watch through. Pull up where I left off, which is right around the 25-minute mark. And then yeah, I'll add in my 2 cents based on my professional experience and like what I've been seeing in the job market, as well as just me building on my own as a founder. And then we'll kind of take it from there, you know? It'd be good. We got a good stream coming. Have a good stream. Love it. That'd be great. I got to get back to work, but want to pop in and say, dude, thanks for popping in. All the love. Have a great rest of your workday, man. Thank you for showing up. And thank you. I will definitely have a good stream. I'll probably be on for like 2 or 3 hours. 6, 7 hours. Nope. Sorry. The second you get back into Twitch and you start talking like a child again. All right, ladies and gents, I am going to switch over, turn off the music, and I'm going to switch over to this podcast interview because that's where a lot of this, a lot of the value is going to come in, which is going to be fantastic. So let's get on into it. I'm going to put up the volume just a tad for you guys. Hold up. The heck?
A broader array.
Okay, sweet. That's good volume. All right, so just for background, this is the code for Vegas this weekend. This is where we left off yesterday. We got a full MVP working. Granted, it was only for that specific session because I haven't deployed it out to the public domain yet, but we have a working MVP. The next step is we're going to build out the admin panel so that I could actually start inputting some events. But actually, even before that, maybe I just do manual event inputting for now. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But nonetheless, we're going to start the stream off going through this podcast right here. Let me expand this. So this is Lenny's podcast. I actually don't know anything about Lenny or his podcast, but he has 620,000 subscribers. Okay, he interviews world-class product leaders and growth experts to uncover concrete, actionable, tactical advice to help you build, launch, and grow your own product. Perfect. Lenny, you're doing the product community a great service. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, I was interested in this because I've been doing some more research on Netflix in particular. They have a lot of really cool things that they're building. So I wanted to learn more about what's going on at Netflix. And what better way than a podcast from 9 days ago, which probably this was filmed probably like a month or two ago. We'll see. But yeah, this is Elizabeth Stone. She's the current Chief Product and Technology Officer, CPTO at Netflix. That is a crazy number of letters, by the way, for a title. I mean, 4 letters isn't that many, but it's a lot more than most. But so we have Elizabeth Stone, Chief Product and Technology Officer, talking about the impact of AI, how she's betting on systems thinkers, which just this topic in general, I really resonate with because I'm someone that definitely over the past 10 years has not really specialized in any one particular domain, but rather spread myself across multiple domains. And I feel like I've gotten fairly good at multiple domains from marketing, product, customer success, engineering, and all that. So just in spirit of AI and what AI is doing and how it's actually impacting companies, industries, I wanted to pull this up. So that's what we're doing here. And yeah, I watched the first 25 minutes so far. I want to finish it out with you guys. As I was watching, I was like, oh, you know what? This has some really valuable nuggets. And if people are interested and they actually watch through, this is going to be pretty helpful for people. So let's get into it. Making sure the volume and everything is good. And yeah, if something feels off during the stream, just let me know. But yeah, we're just going to watch this. I'll pause, react, share my 2 cents. But for a lot of this, we're just going to be watching before we actually get into picking up where we left off yesterday.
Back to the systems thinking. So I think specialists can learn to have a broader array of tools more easily than was true in the past. So we need fewer of them perhaps because talent's able to grow in that direction. And there's something about sticking to a narrow specialty that maybe triggers for me a concern about what about the mindset of growing in different directions and exploring. And I don't want to be too narrow even in my own assessment of that, but it's important that people who are specialists still have that sense of, I want to try a new way of solving these problems versus the way we have in the past.
And when you say specialist, are you thinking like front end? I'm a front end engineer versus a back end, or are there other?
Yeah,
versions
or
of
it
that?
could be a domain set of knowledge of,
Like a payments expert.
I'm a payments expert. I'm an ads marketplace design
Mm,
expert. I'm an expert in this very specific tooling that studio productions use.
hmm
So specialist and subject matter expertise is an advantage, provided that person is willing to grow and extend into, is this really still the right tool or the right way to?
Yeah, so here, for a little bit of context, he's essentially talking through, I believe the question stemmed from specialist versus generalist versus how AI is kind of condensing different roles, especially in the corporate environment to figure out who owns what is actually valuable nowadays, and how to maintain competitive advantage as an employee as you're working in corporate. And she's kind of talking about how specialists obviously still extremely valuable, and you definitely still need specialists for domain expertise. But in a lot of senses nowadays, because the skill set and the skill stack is condensing because of the lower barrier to entry and with the access to AI powered tools, specialists are valuable, but also to the degree of how willing they are to adapt and adjust and continue to push the boundaries, explore, be curious, and not just think in their own specialist mindset way, because that's becoming less and less perchance valuable to a certain degree. Obviously, it's nothing set in stone, but yeah, really interesting how she's talking about it.
Think about the problem. So I think it's the layers of the stack from an engineering perspective, that there's less specialty, and then tools that are unlikely to be static or like to have a lot of inertia around them. I would think like we would want people who are able to innovate and imagine like what's the future version of this. And so we want more talent like that.
Awesome. So coming back to the systems thinking piece, people hearing this are like, okay, I got to work on my systems thinking skill set. How do people develop the skill? Is it just do it for a long time, work at a lot of complex projects? Like I think of this book that everyone always references with the slinky on the front, Thinking in Systems. Yeah, how do people learn this?
Small trick. Each problem you're trying to solve, step out one click to the like, what am I assuming is true about the broader space in solving this problem? So I was given a task to build some new feature for the Netflix member experience. Let me take one beat and think about, what is the bigger consumer problem we're trying to solve here? What's the type of content that this feature is going to be able to support? Do I think that the way I was planning to build this is going to make sense in a way that scales across multiple content types? Or it could be something that's a capability that then is contributed to a platform set of offerings for multiple areas. Is the consumer problem that I'm solving with this feature going to be one of the most important consumer problems that Netflix is going to need to solve as we have an expanding world of entertainment and we want to make it more personalized and immersive? Those are all questions that like, you don't have to boil the whole ocean. You don't have to solve for Netflix's overall strategy and who are we relative to competition, but you take the thing you're responsible for and you just do one zoom out of the problem you're solving and question that. I wouldn't spend too long in the questioning state because then you're stuck. Then you're not making forward progress. But I think that helps people to think in terms of systems and question that, are we solving the right problem in the right way that matters for the end consumer?
Another way, as you describe it, another way I'm thinking about it is like, think if you were your manager, how would what's their broader perspective across not just your one team and problem and KPI, but the larger picture?
Honestly,
I've got advice over years that is similar to that, which is, are there ways that I can do my job that helps my manager do their job?
I mean, that point in particular, I don't think that necessarily relates to what she was saying. I feel like what Elizabeth here is talking about is going back, not necessarily first principles, but whatever assumption that you have when you're building out a feature, building out a product, take a second to step back and identify what assumptions you're making that led you to that decision to build that product and or feature. Because if you don't stress test the assumptions you make. Down the road, if you find out that the assumption that you made, whatever hypothesis it is, whatever assumption you made about the target demographic that you might not have hard data about, if that ends up being wrong, then you not necessarily waste all that time, but a lot of time is lost and a lot of effort will be lost backtracking, either trying to fix that initial issue or scrapping that project and trying to restart anew. And so by taking that beat earlier, being able to step back, identify the exact assumptions you're making and stress test them, not just with yourself, but with your peers, your manager, your teammates, your engineers, whomever you're working with, that can help really hone in on, is this product, is this feature worth pursuing? Is it worth the effort that's about to go in? And then where Lenny kind of pivoted towards was more like, I feel like that's more managing up. That's just like a conversation about, how to play the corporate politics game, which I'm not necessarily the best at, but I'm learning. And I feel like I've gotten a much better, stronger sense of what that is. Because when I was younger in my career, I was always looking at, how can I stand out? How can I improve? How can the product or feature that I'm building really make an impact? But then I wouldn't consider the person above me, the manager, my boss for that particular project. What are their incentives? Are their incentives for my project to do the best, or is their primary incentive to, build engagement, and it doesn't necessarily matter on which specific product? And if the product I'm working on doesn't have the largest audience, then they probably don't care about it as much or what have you. So being able to understand what my boss's incentives are or the manager above me's incentives are helps you align on the work that you're doing, and then try to fit what I'm working on to not only fit my goals, but primarily to also fit the goals of the person above me. And I think that's just a matter of what's called managing up. I don't think that's anything special in particular. Also, this guy is a bot, so I'm going to time him out. Oh, they make that so easy now. I love that. Fantastic. All right, let's get back into it.
And so if I thought about all the things I'm
managing
directly
up,
responsible for, but I thought about it from the perspective of my manager, so not just product and tech, but finance and content and other parts of the business, I would naturally zoom out and think about how all these component pieces need to come together and how the whole could be greater than the sum of the parts. I think that's useful thinking. And for engineers to think about, how do I leave a better version of these systems? How do I think about the thing that's going to be high quality and scale for others? There's both a how do I help my manager, and there's how do I help my colleagues, which is a core part of some of our engineering principles of do the thing that is right for the broader organization instead of just what's right for you locally. That's systems thinking as well. So it's not just seniority, but
like
it's
more
breadth
team
of
thinking, but
the
yeah,
way
I
I
get
solve
what
this
I get what
problem and I build
she's
this.
saying.
Is it going to be useful to my colleagues, and am I going to leave a stronger version of things for the future set of innovations that we want to make?
That is awesome tactical advice. Making your manager's life easier is always a good tactic, career-wise.
Several reasons. Yeah.
Following the thread a little bit, I know you all added career ladders and levels recently. It was like a new thing. You guys used to not have these things. So kind of all on that thread, what have you added to the career ladders within this AI world, if anything, that you find you want people to lean into more, you're looking to more, or not? Like, did you not change your career ladders and performance, criteria?
So the way we've approached this so far is, instead of trying to articulate at each level exactly how AI changes those expectations, to instead put an overlay across all of the talent at Netflix, people on the team and those who are hiring, to talk about an aspiration for AI fluency. And what that looks like is going to vary by function. It's going to vary based on where you are in your career. That could be what level you're in or what type of role or persona work you're doing. But the aspiration for AI fluency, which is a tough thing to define. So does it mean that I have an experimentation mindset? Does it mean that I know where AI is useful and not useful? Does it mean that I've actually built things using AI? I feel like the way that has shown up in career ladders and how we talk about it evolves almost by the quarter, if not month or day, because the tech itself is advancing so much.
I feel like that's, I mean, I'm sure she's going to dive into it a bit deeper, but that's so true. Like what I've seen in terms of not only job postings, but also talking with my clients, talking with other peers and colleagues that are currently in corporate and they're trying to adopt AI, or the company's trying to adopt AI. It's really difficult to really understand where the edge lies for like your specific role. Like, and I say that because when I talk to anybody, the way people are using AI is so vastly different based on their comfort level with tech, based on their specific needs and what they're actually using it for, or what they want it to use it for, as well as their hunger for curiosity and for change. And so based on, I mean, those are just three pillars that I'm kind of thinking through off the top of my head right now, but those are the three common themes that have come up. And what's been miraculous is how differently people are using AI. Some people are using it the way you see it on my screen right now. You have Visual Studio Code and you're building with Claude Code, building actual code base, building your database. Yes, it might not be perfect. Yes, it might not be the most pristine looking thing or the most robust software or app or application, but it works. It functions, it works. You're able to get it in front of people, get feedback, iterate, and then over time, you're able to refine it, make it better, right? Then I've seen people that are extremely big on development, like they're already senior devs, and they haven't even touched manual code in 6 months, yet they're still producing production level code, more productive than ever, and are extremely excited about the changes that have been made because now they're able to do more, they're able to see more, but it seems like for them, the bottleneck now has turned into, you know, what is the best use of their time? Because now when they can do 20x more and they're extremely knowledgeable about what good code looks like, then you just get so excited about building everything and anything just because you can and you have the capacity to do so. But that might not necessarily translate to actually progressing you, your role, your project, your team forward. And then you have on the other side where people are just getting their feet wet, just starting to use chatbots as like Google search, but enhanced obviously for like AI search. And so you have this huge spectrum of how people are using AI. And yeah, it's interesting to hear how she's thinking about it, how Netflix in particular is thinking about it, of creating this whole blanket and, you know, allowing for each of the departments to kind of define how it actually shows up in their day-to-day, as opposed to a mandate of you have to use this for X, Y, and Z. I feel like that's actually better because it sounds like you kind of leave the autonomy and freedom and creativity to use AI and integrate it in the way that you see fit, as opposed to being forced and having it shoved down your throat, which I've also heard that side of corporate where people are saying you have to use AI, and upper management, the C-suite, they don't even know how to define what using AI is or what good looks like in terms of usage of AI. And so it's interesting to see how it seems like they're leaving like the flexibility and autonomy, like I mentioned.
So the most useful thing is not to make it level specific or role specific, but to encourage everyone towards the expectation on AI fluency, which doesn't mean use it as a tech for the sake of tech. It's tech where it's useful, to have good judgment about that, and to have the mindset to be open-minded, to explore and try new things. That's the non-negotiable for all roles. And that's true at the senior-most levels of Netflix, where we talk about we too need to have deep fluency in AI, even if we're not writing code as part of our day jobs. So that's changed. And then that's showing up in our hiring practices as well, getting comfortable within interviews, exploring how are people thinking about AI or technology? What are they using in their day-to-day or their current job? How comfortable are they with change and exploration? And even for things like coding interviews, allowing candidates, of course, to use AI tools, because that's going to be part of what the work requires now. Yeah. So those have been shifts that we've made, but I doubt it's a shift that's done versus we're right in the middle of it.
I'm just going to keep following this thread. Obviously, AI is transformative for coding. It's a big unlock for prototyping. Are there other use cases of AI at Netflix that have been really impactful that people may not think about or not realize?
So there's two that come to mind. So the first is data analysis, distillation of information, modeling, which is, using the tools to get our arms around all the insights we have, similar to what I mentioned before. What experiments have we run? What are the metrics that I should be looking at for a certain problem? What's the consumer research that we've done? And that is much higher velocity and much higher quality, contingent on you check that the results are valid. You work with your local data scientist on, am I using the source of truth data on this? But that's been a great one. And that's one personally that I would say I most use some of these tools for. So that goes beyond prototyping and coding to general analytical thinking and translating data to action and insight. The other one is on the content production creation part of the business, which has lots of applications. This was true before Gen AI. So ML and AI were deeply used in a lot of the production tools. We've used them to think about how to create promotional assets at scale, how to localize in subtitles and dubs. So Gen AI is a big step function in where the impact can be in creative ideation. We call those things like pre-visualization, or basically bringing a creator's vision to life before you even get into you bring people to a set and start to actually go through the production itself. There's lots of use cases in post-production. So we recently acquired a company, Interpositive, that was started by Ben Affleck, that built a set of models and capabilities that allow you, after you've shot something, to relight, reframe, reshoot, change dialogue in ways that are very impactful to get higher quality content.
Yo, Ben Affleck started a company? The heck? I ain't never heard about this. Ben Affleck company acquired by Netflix. Hello? When did he do this? What the flim flam? 587 million? What did Ben Affleck do? That's nuts. 586 million in cash for Interpositive, co-founded by Ben Affleck, acquired in March. Protect the power of human creativity. Helps filmmakers improve their footage in post-production. Oh, very interesting. So I guess, when you're actually filming on set, you might have missed something. You might have missed a take that you wanted, a different angle of the lead actor walking away from an explosion or something, and you wanted a different angle. So I guess the company that Ben Affleck co-founded, Interpositive, helps you get that footage or create it or improve the current footage you currently have in post, so you don't have to go out and shoot again. Because obviously when you go out to shoot, you got one chance. You can't redo it because you have to get the whole crew out there, all the equipment, all of the actors, actresses, all that stuff. So very interesting. Missing shots, background replacements, incorrect lighting. Wow. What? Dude, Ben Affleck, who would have thought? Let me check out the company that was acquired. I didn't even know about this. Cut production costs. Okay, Interpositive, here we are. Let's check out Ben Affleck's Interpositive company. We don't just create, we create positive. Okay, that sounds kind of vague. I don't get that, but it's all good. Is this the right company? I don't even know if this is the right company. Hungary. This is not the right company. But they have better SEO than... Okay, let's look at this. This is probably it. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Okay. Do they not have a website? Hello? The heck? Bruh. Why don't they have what, bruh?
Common mark, second sticks.
Never in my life did I think I'd be having a conversation about AI or technology, and Elizabeth did not imagine she would be in a conversation with Ben Affleck. So here we all are.
One is slightly more impressive than the other.
We got the whole C-suite here, so let's not dilly down. There's important people here.
Time is
all the
money.
rest of this company is ground to a stop right now.
There's a lot of skepticism around what is AI? How does it actually help filmmaking? What would you say to those creators and filmmakers who are still very skeptical about it?
I understand the skepticism because I share it. Because I had some experience and relationships with people in the sort of precursor to AI visual effects community, to go and see some early versions of what was being done with generative AI in video. And it really scared me. I can't believe what this is capable of. But what I learned pretty quickly was that that was a little bit of an illusion. It would often fall apart. What I was really shocked by was how there was this really deep engineering, math, science level of expertise associated with creating this, but no artistic, no filmic information whatsoever. I was worried that this was a technology that was going to grow outside of the ecosystem of filmmakers and artists. I saw what I thought was a real opportunity and a real authentic danger. But most importantly, I thought this is a really meaningful innovation.
And it really resonates that instead of letting this technology happen to us or the industry, we're choosing to shape it.
Exactly.
So how would you describe exactly what this tool is that Interpositive has built if you were talking to your favorite filmmaker? You don't have to tell us who that is.
That's really cool because I'm very far removed from filmmaking. The closest exposure I had to this was when I lived in LA. I was on pilot episodes for shows that people were trying to pitch to the Netflixes, the Apple studios, the Fox. They're trying to pitch them, and none of them panned out. But this Interpositive, I mean, he's about to get into it, but it seems like it's targeted specifically at those filmmakers, the directors, the people that have the vision, but then realize after the shoot that they don't have the footage that they need to actually do what they wanted to do. So very fascinating. We'll see what it actually is.
Interpositive is a tool that's designed to solve the specific problems that I'd encountered as a filmmaker that connect you more to the filmmaking. It's not about text prompting or generating something from nothing. You're building a model from your own material. That's how this works. You have to create your movie essentially first before you can really build your model around your movie using AI. And once you do that, you have your model. You control it.
Very interesting. I was talking about the model.
AI, people mostly think of as making something from nothing. I'm going to type something into a computer and it's going to give me a movie. That's not what this is. It was built with a lot of people, a lot smarter than I am. You use this technology to learn from your own filmed dailies. Then you're able to introduce that in the post-production process so that you're improving your editorial process, your ability to mix, color, finish your film, do visual effects. It's not a way of imposing a new set of reactions or something alien or foreign to the character. It can only understand this and only build this tool because it's trained on the character that the actor has already built. The filmmaking process, really since its inception, has been one long technological progression. We've always been seeking to make it feel more realistic, more honest, and Interpositive is, I hope, another iteration, another step in keeping with that long and storied history.
How do these actors and filmmakers react when you show them what's possible with this tool?
At first, it's startling, and it's a little bit unnerving, but what they do want to know is, so what does this mean? And I always say, it means you and I can go shoot a movie on a stage and we can really focus on the performance and the intention and the meaning and the humanity of it. I want to take out all the logistical, difficult, technical stuff that often gets in the way. You can use your own model to remove the wires on stunts, reframe a shot, get a shot you missed, shape the lighting, enhance the backgrounds. You can take some of those problems out. Yes, you can do it more quickly, you can do it more easily, you're giving more choice, you're giving more opportunity, you're getting more episodes of your favorite shows, you're getting more human work.
So how do you think about the responsibility that Netflix has in this space, and especially now in joining forces with Interpositive and you?
What was impressed upon me was this is a group of people that genuinely cares about this industry, that wants to foster growth in it, that wants to enable creativity.
During the last couple of years, you've produced movies for us, you've starred in movies, you've directed movies. I think having that You know exactly what it is to make
I know how it is to
multiple movies.
Absolutely.
Right, with us in every aspect.
I worked all across this company with a whole range of your executives, a whole team, and every step along the way, it only reinforced that sense of security and comfort. And I thought, this is a place I feel really good about bringing this tool.
I'm glad that comes across because it's not new to Netflix to work with technology. We've been working with ML and AI for a long time, but always in service of responsible use of technology versus technology for technology's sake really rings true in terms of the culture of the company.
And I can validate that because as we start to build this, I got exposed to everybody in the tech community. And there are a lot of competing philosophies about how it should be done. Some people move fast and break things. Yeah. A lot of different approaches. And I can tell you what, it's very uncommon for those to be characterized by compassion for or even an interest in creative community or artists. And a lot of times I heard people saying, how do we get the human out of the loop? What Netflix does and what the film community here does broadly is say, we actually care about this whole ecosystem.
For us at Netflix, I always want and hope we can always provide filmmakers tools. Because for me, it's not really about cheaper, it's really about better.
I didn't need to go into technology. I did this because I love it, I'm passionate about it, and because I want to sustain and protect this thing that we all love, which is why we're here.
Am I still live? I think I am. Am I still live? I think I am. Okay, good. I was about to say. Deep live? Research. Okay, good. Am I still live? I think I am. All right, sweet. So overall, it seems like this acquisition that Netflix had with Interpositive is really huge. I had no idea that Ben Affleck is creating or has created this company. Let me see if there's a different video or is it's the same video. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. They essentially are trying to help with post-production, remove the technical gaps that exist when it comes to filming, when it comes to building out the final version and helping directors, filmmakers, editors finish post-processing. Let me see what the comments are saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess to a degree, it's like the next version of CGI. And AI kind of has that realistic feel to it. I mean, at least now some of the tools make it look very realistic. Yeah. Very interesting. Comments are kind of against it, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, that's awesome. So now we're about to hear Elizabeth talk more about her thoughts on Netflix partnering with Interpositive and what that actually looks like for Netflix currently. So let's jump back in.
Still led by the filmmaker or creator saying, you know what, I would like to try something else to bring this vision to life. But that impact is extremely promising. And we're seeing lots of productions leverage different tools, some of them built in-house, some of them that we enable through other vendors for those content creation use cases. And then as we think about how content comes to the product, I mentioned localization, subtitles and dubs, but also how we create high quality trailers, images, artwork at scale that then we can use to help make sure that titles find their audiences around the world. Those all are huge levers when we think about the AI impact. So that cool. Again, goes well beyond prototyping or coding to some of the creative use cases. And you can imagine that just like they work for studio productions for film and TV, they work for advertising, they work for marketing, off-service campaigns. And so those are all areas that we're exploring.
This episode is brought to you by Mercury,
Don't hit me
radically
with the
different
ad.
banking loved
Don't
by
do
over
it.
300,000
Don't do it to
entrepreneurs
me.
once, not an invoice, AI, cleans around. And just today, I
Also, like I hate to be the counter to the exact ad they're running. I tried Mercury for my business and it was horrendous, and they made it absolutely
used it to find
like an absolute nightmare to get my money out. So I actually don't like Mercury, but you don't have to listen to me.
out how much
Also, don't know the implications of sharing my experience about Mercury while they're running an ad for Mercury. Who knows?
I've made from a specific sponsor
That probably kills the chances of Mercury working with me. But I mean, I didn't like their service anyway.
over the past year. Find it through Network Group
All right.
and column NA members FDIC. You mentioned how Netflix has been very early to AI and ML for a long time. Younger people may not remember this, but y'all had this contest to
The
optimize
Netflix prize.
the Netflix prize. Like just show an example of how early you were to AI and ML.
don't know the
People,
Netflix
there was, I
prize.
think it was $1 million prize to optimize the Netflix ranking algorithm a little bit, like whoever could optimize it the most. And I think the winner optimized it by a few percentage points, something like that. And it was like a huge deal. All these super smart people got around the world.
Yeah.
And it happened a few times, right?
I mean, you said it on my behalf. Often when there's questions about how is Netflix thinking about AI, it's great to remind people of exactly that point, that this is not new to us, that
Very cool.
especially for
They're at the
personalization,
forefront. The
it's
forefront.
been central to delivering a great experience to members. It's impossible to take the breadth of content that we have. There's ever more content. That's one of the challenges we face, and make discovery easier and easier and easier, which is one of the challenges that Netflix has. And using AI and ML has been a way to do that. You want to personalize right title for the right person at the right moment.
Let's look up
That
this
problem gets
challenge that
harder.
they're talking
The
about.
more exciting our catalog gets, the greater breadth of content we have, not just film and TV, but games and live and podcasts. Personalization becomes even more important in what that experience is. So we can take a lot of that history and say, okay, well, now how do we solve this problem? Because the tech is even more powerful.
Dude, this is kind of sick. Netflix prize was a 2006 to 2009 open competition offering $1 million reward to improve their Cinematch recommendation algorithm by 10%. I mean, 10% on a platform that's already that massive. Granted, I don't know where they were at in 2006 to 2009. Is pretty wild. Beat the existing movie preference prediction accuracy by a minimum of 10%, measured using root mean squared error on a large data set of over 100 million anonymous user ratings. Annual progress awards of 50,000 leading to the ultimate grand prize. Dude, Belcore Pragmatic Chaos won in 2009. Oh, they didn't deploy it. Well, it's a challenge, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it has to go to production, but they did win, and they did hold true to giving $1 million for it. So very cool. 7 researchers, engineers, and scientists from around the world made up Belcore's Pragmatic Chaos. They improved it by 10.09%. That's crazy, by the way. They ran this challenge for 3 years, and the winning team, the criteria was at least 10%. The winning team won at 10.09%. So they had the edge of 0.9 or 0.09%. That was just 20 minutes ahead of a submission team ensemble by 10.1%. Very cool. Yeah, Netflix is at the forefront, whether it be for ML optimization or, I mean, it seems like now AI. But yeah, let's jump back in.
Powerful, but it gives us a running head start in being clear about the problem to solve, how important it is that Netflix solve that for our members. And then the same is true, as I was mentioning, on the creative side of the house. AI and ML have been in things like visual effects or in localizing language for a long time. Now we say, what's the next era of that when the tech is more powerful? And in both cases, it ends up taking a strength that Netflix has, which is marrying entertainment and technology and making sure we stay ahead of the game to deliver things that are even better. So I love that it's part of our history. It still continues to be a strength, and it's going to have to be a strength given the size of the challenges we're facing around the breadth of entertainment. while keeping a great experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I love that back then it was called machine learning, and AI was like, no, this it's not AI. AI is never going to happen. It's just machine learning.
Well, then all of a sudden we
Yeah, and
call
then flips.
everything AI and some of
That's
it's
right.
machine learning.
That's right.
So I try to,
Some of it
you
is
know, it
just straight
depends
up
like the thing that
automation
is
that
of the moment to
requires
describe.
neither.
So I think
Yeah.
we bucket all of it as AI now.
Yeah,
pretty
it
And
is
there's
cool
a
to
lot
say
of AI use cases that are not generative use cases. So we could go down a deep dark hole of all the specific things.
At least
But
she
in
knows the
general, like
difference.
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
it
a
would
lot of
surprise
people I
anyone
talk
that
to,
Netflix
even
is using a
executives,
broad
don't necessarily
array.
know that difference. So
And with
that's
so
refreshing.
much excitement about what's possible, the fun thing at Netflix for the people who work here is that if you're really passionate about the applications of tech for creative outlets, for consumer products, for infrastructure, we have all of those problems, and AI is at the center of them. And it's good not to forget that's true, even if Netflix isn't branded as an AI company. AI is a tool that we're very comfortable using to get these great entertainment and technology outcomes.
The other really interesting thing, just to kind of keep complimenting Netflix here, if you look at the early culture deck of Netflix and also our conversation last time, things that emerge from that are things like high agency. This was like something core to Netflix in the beginning. High agency, autonomy, high talent density, very bottoms up thinking, super quick experiments and launching, paying top of market. This is all stuff that every AI, like this is what I hear constantly now from how the top AI labs operate. So we're all ending here, and this is where Netflix has been forever.
Yeah, it's a little prescient in understanding what makes talent incredible. I've thought about all those aspects of the culture at Netflix as, this is going to sound a little bit nerdy, but excellence as an operating system. So the goal of all those cultural elements wasn't the end goal in themselves. It wasn't, let's just make sure people have as much responsibility as possible. Or let's, we don't like process, so let's make sure that we don't have any of that. It was instead a very strongly held opinion that you get to excellence by giving people a lot of agency and accountability, by pushing decisions as deep in the organization as possible, hiring great people who can be trusted to have good judgment and make good decisions.
I like that. Yeah, giving people the agency and the responsibility for ownership in order to actually progress forward. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, yesterday when we ran our code to get the MVP for Vegas this weekend here on the left side, it took like 40 minutes for it to get through everything. So now I'm actually going to really quickly prompt what we're going to build next and then let it run as we finish and watch this video. All right, does this have mic? Okay. Let's pick up where we left off yesterday and resume with building out the admin flow so that myself, John, can input URLs to specific links for different Vegas events and then have Claude Agent extract the necessary details from the events from that link and organize it in our database with the necessary columns that we need. Obviously, we need like the title of the event, the description, the date, the time, all of that stuff, as well as all the extra parameters that we indicated in our PRD. And let's build that out. It needs to solve two things. It must allow for manual input so that I can just manually input different events and their details, as well as the URL extraction. Don't build anything yet. Let's align and figure out the best path forward. Ask me any questions in order to determine the best path forward before we actually start the build. All right, so I'm gonna let that run and let's see what it comes back with. Also, if you aren't using voice, I highly recommend it. Voice is, it's so much easier for me to just talk through that idea than typing all of that out. Obviously, like we went through yesterday, having this initial PRD, product requirements document, or spec sheet, whatever you want to call it, is really important for that first shot. But then all the iterations, all the next level sorts of tasks, I'll use voice. And then you'll see when I actually build out feedback and want to improve on feedback, I'll actually have it either in this document or a separate document that says, hey, these are the specific things I want to change in our application. Let's go through this line by line and figure out the prioritization for it. What actually moves the needle? What makes sense? What do we need to actually implement before we start getting users here? A lot of times I'll do the initial prioritization, but it's always good to get a second point of view. And in this case, second point of view is AI. And then ultimately the point of view we're looking for are actual users, which that doesn't happen until we actually go to market. And actually for that too, I will also share that. That'll be one of the next future live streams where instead of vibe coding, we're literally just going to start deploying on, let's get conversations started with people. Let's get some user feedback. Let's figure out what people actually want, what they don't want, what works, what doesn't work. So I'm going to try and go through the entire process of it and see where it all lands, you know? All right, so let's keep watching as this continues to work. I'm just not going to full screen it, so.
And that ends up driving incredible outcomes, plus a lot more motivation and sense of responsibility. It means every person on the team can feel like I'm being given a lot of keys and a lot of accountability for what happens here. And I myself feel like when you know you're carrying that level of trust and accountability, you want to do your best work.
100%.
And so there's something that feels very...
When you're not given responsibility, work feels so meaningless. Like whether you're working for yourself or you're working for other people, working for yourself, if you don't even feel responsible for the problems that you're solving, work is going to be miserable, you know? Same thing when you're working at a company. So I love this aspect of it. I feel like a lot of companies say that, but then when you are ready for that responsibility, or they don't even like let you taste responsibility and then they expect the world from you. It's like, it's kind of backwards. Very interesting. All right, before we move on here, what's it saying? Public tax service of real events need to reach the railroad production data. Yep, that's fine. Let's do this. Beyond the two you specified, menu entry both assumed in. Duplicate detection for sure. Browse what's in the catalog, fix the wrong time. Yeah, I feel like that could be good. Edit insider tips would be nice. Yeah, I mean, all of these would be nice. A weekly night for 3 months and 12 rows. How should the, extract and generate the series. All right, sweet.
very intuitive about Netflix's culture has always been aiming at excellence. And when you have great talent and you give them the ability to do their best work without micromanaging it or drowning it in process, you actually get much better outcomes. And so I do think that the newer era companies are picking up on something that is feeling very familiar to us. And it's not something that comes easily. So having culture is not a static thing. Culture needs to grow and evolve as the company gets bigger, the types of problems you're solving change. But the notion that like, we're going for excellence and trusting that exceptional talent needs to be able to do their best work, that's unchanged.
Yeah, I feel like that was like really good corporate speak for just saying, let them cook. Like what she's, if I'm going to translate what she's saying into the way I understand it, it's like, if you're hiring the top talent, the best talent, what use is micromanagement and what use is putting these sorts of guardrails on this top talent to build and be excellent, when in reality, all that does is hold them back, make the process significantly more difficult with a lot more hoops. And so she's just saying like, hey, we're hiring the best talent. Like, just let them cook, and the results end up being better, which is great. I love that. And yeah, I guess her point here is also that companies are also coming around to that idea, and yeah, that it's not a foreign concept, and Netflix has already been, living that practice out. So very cool.
And something that I think continues to be a special sauce for us.
I love this
Special
concept.
sauce.
Excellence as an operating
The
system.
sauce.
It's very systems thinking, you
Where's
might
the
say,
ham sauce?
for how to set up a company.
Exactly, Lenny.
So for people that, like, everyone listening to this will want excellence as an operating system, like, who would not want this? It'd be helpful for people to hear what are kind of the ingredients to make this happen. One is obviously high talent density, just hiring only the best. Two is accountability. Kind of, there's like the input and the output, essentially. Input amazing people, the top people, make them accountable, give them autonomy. What would you say kind of like the pillars of creating this excellence as an operating system? If founders are listening to this, like, I want them to do that.
Well, the talent density is the non-negotiable. Like, you have to start with that. If you don't have that, you can't get to a place where you have confidence in decision making at all levels of the organization, allowing people to take risks and innovate quickly. That's a big part of excellence in the Netflix culture, which is being very comfortable with risk taking. We don't try to avoid failures. We try to recover quickly when we have them. I think there's been great examples of that. Our foray into live was a wonderful example of being comfortable taking a ton of risk, knowing it would be imperfect, knowing we would learn fast and we would be better for it. I've never been prouder of the team, seeing how we worked through that.
What was that called? I didn't catch
Avoid
that.
failures. We try to being very comfortable with it. That's a big organization, allowing people to take risks and innovate quickly. That's a big part of excellence in the Netflix culture, which is being very comfortable with risk taking. We don't try to avoid failures. We try to recover quickly when we have them. I think there's been great examples of that. Our foray into live was a wonderful example of.
Is she talking about the Netflix going into live shows? She said there was a mistake here. Oh, I didn't even know that. What? This is in 2023? Netflix's transition to live streaming hit a major mistake during the Love is Blind Season 4 reunion on April 16, 2023, when a technical bug delayed the broadcast by over an hour and forced it to air pre-recorded instead. That's pretty big. Oh. Yeah, I mean, if you got millions of people tuning in exactly at 8 p.m. and then no one can watch, it's kind of bad. Oh, they waited over 90 minutes. Oh, and then they scrapped it. Oh, that is tough. A software bug was accidentally introduced while trying to optimize live stream performance. Ah, very interesting. Huh. It's also interesting that it's 2026 and she's referencing that mistake in 2023. So it seems like they don't forget those mistakes, and they really keep them close to the or close in their minds. Okay, yeah, I am blocking ads. Netflix is quiet banning strategy that made it a giant. Who is this? Green Riddler, London-based cultural journalist and critic writing on film. Blah blah blah. Okay. No longer need to revolve around schedules. Subscriber rate is slowly dwindling, and high-end program is expensive to sustain. Is that true? Let's see, 2024 to 2026. 325 in 2026. Bro, what do you mean? They're growing. What's this lady talking about? Well, according to this one source, but let me see. Active subscribers over time. Let's figure this out. I mean, looks like a 10x to me. Let's see here. Nah, that's crazy. Who is Greer Riddle and what is she saying? Slowly dwindling? I'm so confused. It seems more opinion based and not database, because data clearly shows that, like, this data is absurd. They've been only growing. Let's see. 5-year time period. Okay, they did hit. Well, yeah, they are going down in terms of the past year, but I mean, honestly, it might be a good time to buy. All right, sorry. Now we're getting into the weeds of it. Let's just get back to the interview.
Of being comfortable taking a ton of risk, knowing it would be imperfect, knowing we would learn fast and we would be better for it. I've never been prouder of the team, seeing how we worked through that. So you have to be talent density, comfortable that people are going to take the context that you give them, strong judgment and risk taking, and fight for the things that are the best outcomes for the business. You have to be very clear that what you're doing is driving outcomes for consumers and Netflix. So it's Netflix matters, Netflix members matter. It's not about my own personal success or what I prefer. So there's a selflessness that is part of this excellence operating system.
I feel like people talk about selflessness.
And then the other thing I would say is some of the things that are, they're really unnatural
know
for humans to do. So I could give a couple examples of things to get comfortable with, which is there are certainly days where I see decisions happening and I think, I would make a different decision. Like, is that really going to be the best thing? But my job, especially in the Netflix culture, is not to step in every one of those cases and overrule or veto or question someone, especially if it's not material, it's not going to burn the place down. Let people make that decision and learn from it and ask for those reflections afterwards of like, how did it go? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the decision was a great one, but that it's related to the risk taking and the like, help people learn how to feel comfortable making their own decisions, especially when they're not all going to be the right decisions and they're going to learn something tough from it. I felt that myself from my boss and my peers saying, this is your decision. You know, I can provide input. I can help you brainstorm. It's yours in the end. And it just doesn't come naturally when the stakes are high, when I feel responsible for what the org's doing. To let people lean into risk can be uncomfortable. And I think that also means in cases where things are not going well, as another example, to not assume that process is going to fix it. So something I've learned over the past few years, that when planning is difficult, I've never heard someone say like, oh, we figured out the perfect way to plan or the perfect way to go through feedback and leveling and compensation. But every time we saw that and we added more process, we spent more time without getting better outcomes.
That's fair.
And so it's another unnatural thing that I think everyone's inclination when things are hard and complicated is you think you're simplifying the problem by putting a lot of constraints around it, but it actually goes against the like, is there a more creative way to plan or to make people decisions or to make prioritization decisions that actually get us to better outcomes? And so it's a resistance to do the thing that a lot of bigger companies would do and to feel comfortable in that discomfort very often. So that's something I feel in my role. And I would believe a lot of people at Netflix feel it because you try not to do the thing that is standard. It's
easy to say that and hear that, but I so know what you mean, where somebody screws up and you're like, okay, what was the thing that went wrong? Let's put a process in place to avoid this from happening. And what you're saying is like, you need to resist that because that slows things down. And the best people don't want to be working in a place with all these checklists and processing gates and things like that.
No, I think the best people want to know there's going to be a blameless retro and they're going to feel so individually responsible that they're going to say, how do I make sure this doesn't happen again? Not with process, but with like, how could I share these learnings?
That's such a good point. It's like, I feel naturally people feel guilt. Like, I feel like majority of people feel a strong sense of guilt. At least I know I do. And yeah, if you messed up, it's like you'll try to, if I mess up, I'll try to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen again. And also, I feel like I beat myself up too much over that. I've gotten much better at that over the years, but like definitely when I was younger, I would beat myself up so hard for any type of mistake. And it's like, we're going to make mistakes. We're people. Like it just happens. And so, with that responsibility, with the risk, people will put the onus on themselves. I mean, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt, but most people will put the onus on themselves to correct that wrong and also prevent it from happening again to the same degree. Because obviously, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, or something like that. I think that was it. I don't know if that's exactly the right use of that for this scenario, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
How could I do work differently to make sure that I get to a better outcome next time? When you are trusting people to take those reflections and learn and grow, I think you get much better outcomes over time, and you get a much stronger team, which I think is part of our role as leaders of like, you're trying to grow a team that is resilient and durable and knows how to have great impact. You're not trying to control everything.
Which is a key to building a team with high talent density. There's two sides to this that I want to chat about briefly. One is the hiring, and the other is keeping the people. So you're famous for the keepers test. We talked about this last time. Another unnatural thing for people. People that want to understand what this is, they can listen to the first conversation. But how has that evolved over the last couple of years? That's still a core part of the culture, this idea of the keepers test.
It's often cited in a way where you think of keepers test as that moment where you decide to let someone go, that they're not the right fit for the role, and the conversation about that. But it's equally commonly used to have a conversation about how extraordinary someone is, how well they're doing in a role. Because the entry point is for me to say to one of my direct reports, or for them to say to me, how am I doing on your keeper test? And the lion's share of the time, my response is, I would fight so hard to keep you. Let me go through a set of things that I think you're doing such a great job at, what your strengths are, where you're having a lot of impact. Here's how you could be even better. So it's an entry into a conversation that is very positive and uplifting for people. But the framing is, do I pass the keeper test? And then, of course, there's the harder situations where I'm evaluating, does someone pass the keeper test, or they're asking me. And this is the toughest thing to say, to be honest, you're not passing that right now. I think you could get there in some cases, and that comes with feedback and what are those milestones. Or in some cases, you're saying, we've really tried and I don't see the path to success. So it's an anchor and an entry point for a conversation that can go lots of different directions. And the thing I like about it is it's good hygiene on feedback and checking in on how things are going and forcing a tough conversation sometimes instead of shying away from it. Or to keep great talent, you do need to say you're doing great. Like that's an important part of making people feel recognized and valued. So I don't want it to come across that we just have this very negative view of it. I think there's this positive side of the coin as well.
Awesome. I guess just to explain to people what this is so they don't have to go listen to a whole other podcast, I'll try to briefly explain it. The idea here, a part of the Netflix culture, is that when you have people reporting to you, you should always be thinking, would I hire this person today, knowing what I know about them? And if not, then I should probably let them go. And the idea there is to keep the high bar, to not ever just like settle, okay, this person, they're here, I guess we'll keep them around. Is that roughly the way to understand it?
Yeah. And the way it's sort of a corollary to that. If that person came to me today to say they were leaving, would I fight to keep them or not? Or would I say, if my sense is relief of, oh yeah, it probably would be better to have someone else in this role, I should have taken action in having that conversation sooner.
I love, as you said, it's so many uncomfortable things you have to do to maintain.
Yeah, the keeper test is one, maintaining talent density, context, not control among leaders. We talk about being highly aligned but loosely coupled, which is where light process, the minimum to make sure we're clear on the priorities and we can execute them is what we're solving for. All of these things are not things that human beings or organizations at scale tend to do. So it's constant diligence to try to maintain the thing that's made Netflix a special place. Because in the end, it's the work and the culture that attracts people and retains people. And we need that to be a successful business.
So that's exactly where I was going to go. So to make this work, you need to attract the best people. It's always been very hard to attract the best people. Feels insanely hard these days with the amount of dollars flying around, the fancy AI labs, so much competition. There's like, everyone's just, it's crazy. What have you found to be effective in convincing the top people to still come to Netflix and join versus all the other fancy places they can go?
Yeah, we've always had a lot of competition for talent. It might feel more pronounced right now, but we have great talent on the team. Maybe that goes without saying, but I feel like I should say it out loud because I believe it. We have incredible talent at Netflix, recent hires, long tenured people. I'm always impressed by the work.
All right, sweet. My rate limits have reset, so I don't have to worry about the Claude rate limits anymore.
That the team is doing. So I don't feel like we've suffered or like other companies are vacuuming up all the good people, because so many of them I do think sit at Netflix. It does feel like we have to be more explicit about the types of people and talent that tend to thrive at Netflix versus other companies like some of the frontier labs. So people at Netflix have to be passionate about the application of technology and the application or building products to solve a certain set of problems. You have to love entertainment. You have to love consumer products at scale. You have to love the global nature of that. There are a lot of incredibly talented people who love that sweet spot. I am one of them, between tech and product and entertainment. And how do you make those things come together in a way that's remarkable? And you use AI to do it. You use other technologies and products to do it. But that has to be something that drives you to be really excited about a lot of the roles at Netflix. If instead you're inspired by some of the foundational work that the frontier model companies are doing, which is exciting in its own way, it's a different persona. It's a different, like, here's the problem space that I want to work in. But I don't think there's a shortage of people who get really excited about the applications of the technology and see the connection to that, to things that they love and use every day, like Netflix. And so that, that gets me up in the morning, and I think it gets a lot of the team members up. And we have this conversation about, like, that's something special that only talent at Netflix can do, or fill in the blank for another industry that's deep in the application of it. I think that's inspiring.
I want to kind of touch on a couple things that I've been thinking about in this world of AI that we're approaching. One is junior people. It feels like everyone's just like, this is a good example. You're hiring a lot of awesome senior people that have proven they're awesome and, high talent density, high bars. Also, just AI makes it so easy to do stuff that people may not be learning how to do anything. They're like junior engineers, I'm thinking, or junior PMs, junior designers. Like, there's just like, how do new people become these awesome senior people? Is there anything you think about? Are you hiring junior people? How do you think about this? What happens with junior people not necessarily learning or having a path to learn to become the senior person?
We are still hiring junior people, and they're really important to our talent strategy. So we still have an intern program. We still have a new grad program, which was new for us as of a few years ago. So prior to a few years ago, we were only hiring more experienced talent across all the functions. Now we do hire people straight from undergrad and graduate programs, and we'll continue to do that. So even in a world of AI where some things are easier, we were talking earlier about mindset, AI fluency. From my experience, younger folks are more open-minded. They tend to be more native in some of these new ways of working. For a company like Netflix, they're
That's
also
just
very fluent in
everyone.
how entertainment is changing, how
Youngins
consumer
are more
behaviors are
open
changing,
to taking risks,
how product
exploring,
and tech is
generally
influencing that in the products that they're using.
They're not, like,
That's
tied
really
to
important
a
to have on
specific
our team.
product yet.
So there's the part of the
tools.
persona, which is who are you as a new grad who's an engineer, but there's also who are you as someone who's in their early 20s and has a perspective on the world that is highly valuable and a comfort with the way the world is changing. So that's why I say it's a critical part of our talent strategy. Okay, so you step into the role and you have AI tools that didn't exist 5 or 10 years ago. I would say mastery of the craft is still very important. So going back to as the team member, I'm responsible for the quality of code that I am submitting for production. I'm responsible for the quality of products that I'm building, how they are designed, what that user or consumer experience is. None of that is going away. So if I think about more junior or earlier career talent on the teams, we need to be investing just as much in the mentorship of this is what good looks like. This is how you use these tools, but you still take accountability for what the outcomes are, what the quality of the output is. And I think I mentioned this earlier. I find that mastery and that craft excellence scarce still. So we want to make sure we're teaching that. I think it's a valid concern of like, how do I get that if I'm not as hands-on as I would have had to be? But you still carry responsibility for reviewing code, testing code, being able to diagnose problems, knowing what a good product looks like. Like, I think that's a very scarce skill to say, this is excellence in a product
True.
that solves a problem that
True.
matters and in how it's designed.
Everyone just
So I
thinks
don't
that
think
their
that
solution is
craft
the best,
mastery,
but they
the
don't
importance
know
of it is
how
going
people
away.
actually use
Probably
it,
the way we
if it's actually
train
even
and
helpful.
grow talent has to change because
And I feel like just in general with AI, it's so easy again to get to the MVP stage, but I don't like saying the word taste because I feel like that's also kind of like a little presumptuous and as well as like a bit arrogant to say that you have taste and someone doesn't. But there is a sense of like product sense, what good looks like based off of public feedback. And if you aren't able to get enough distribution to get enough feedback to understand what your users or your target demographic like or don't like about your product, then your product is just, there's nothing special about it. You really need to think about if it's actually solving a problem, if it's actually a good product, and the market doesn't lie. In most cases, the market doesn't lie. The public will immediately tell you if they like it or not, and you can know that immediately based off of the usage, based off of the traction, based off of recurring users. Like there are a lot of data points that can indicate if a product is good or not. So yeah, something to think about, something I have to think about as well.
they're going to use different tools. And I can guarantee you that earlier career talent is going to be teaching older folks like me many new things too. So I think it goes in both directions.
Where do you think engineering goes in the, I don't know, 5-10 years? Do you think people need to still understand code? Or do you think there's this abstraction layer that sits on top where you don't even have to learn C++, Java, Python, whatever?
I think there's a difference between being able to write lines of code in a particular language like Python or C++ and understanding how code, computer systems, products work. And I don't think the latter is going away. Because if we trusted agents to know all the languages and write all the code, we're not going to know why is it a good product? Is it a bad product? Is it working as we expected? When it doesn't, like I mentioned earlier, we take a lot of risk. We fail fast, we recover fast. That requires an understanding of how are these systems working. I might use an agent to help me understand those things, help me detect an anomaly or something that's broken faster and triage it. But I still need to have a fluency of like, what is this thing that we're building and how does it work? So I know if it's good and I know how to fix it. I don't know. I hope that doesn't go away because, that's like how do we make the world a better place through the stuff that we're building?
Yeah, I feel like if that layer disappears, it's going to be really difficult. But at the same time, it's really difficult to motivate people to want to continue learning how the thing works when it's so easy to not have to learn that. I always just go back to the whole math problem thing. When I was in mechanical engineering or studying engineering in college, like we went through differential equations, Calc 3, linear algebra, like all of these things that the professors at the time, they wouldn't tell us how to do it using a calculator, using the computer. And it was interesting because we had access to the internet and computers, but a lot of us didn't really look it up online and we just wanted to figure it out and get the problem correctly. Plus, we also had to hand write these problems that were like one math problem being 3 pages long of rewriting the exact same equation in a slight variation with a couple of different variable changes, because you need to show your step-by-step process and submit that as your answer. But without having done that exercise, we wouldn't have understood what is happening behind the scenes. And then when the professor actually gave us the equation, or gave us the exact inputs to use on our calculators or whatever to actually get that problem without having to handwrite 3 pages, we're always like, oh, come on, what the heck? You just wasted all of our time. But in reality, it wasn't wasting our time. One, it made us appreciate the formula and the calculator and what it did for us, because it saved us 3 hours of writing the same freaking thing over and over and over again. And then two, if we were to be asked to explain it, at the time, I can't anymore, I don't think, to the same degree. But at the time, I could sit down and explain it to people and why we do it this way, why we go through this methodology, and why this is the right methodology or the right Taylor series to use in order to solve that specific equation. And yeah, with this whole AI thing, it's like coding is now no longer a barrier. And so when it's no longer a barrier, it's hard to motivate people, I would assume, to learn the ins and outs of it, depending on what stage of their learning journey they're on. If you're in college and professors just outright say, hey, don't even worry about writing code, learning code, let's just use AI to do it, I feel like that's going to be really detrimental. And I think it could be a great place where we continue to require the hard technical aspects, whether it be math, whether it be engineering, whether it be just like writing out specific proposals and creating the decks on hand, so that you can understand taste, understand how much effort actually goes into it, so that we continue to appreciate it. And then once you're given the tool of AI that'll do it for you, or do like 80% of the work, you understand like, wow, this is fantastic. There's so much leverage here, and the possibilities can be endless, but you still maintain that baseline knowledge of how it works, why you do a certain way, or why you use a certain method. I don't know. It's going to be interesting because, again, like I said earlier, I've talked to senior devs that haven't written any manual code in the past 6 months. And I'm like, if you're a senior dev at a big tech company and you're not writing code, how can you convince like an 18-year-old about to go into college for, computer science to do the same? Like, it's a hard sell, I feel. Who knows?
I think requires some understanding of what we've built.
What I'm hearing, which it makes sense, is you may not have to write the code, but you have to understand it and what's happening. But it's so much harder to as a person not writing it, to actually, have that instilled in you.
I think that's one of
Requires
the
discipline.
things that the learning curve is very steep on right now. So looking at some of the code that some of these models or agents are writing, they're very hard to follow. It's like, I know I'm getting better performance from this, but I have no idea why. And if this thing breaks, I'm going to have no idea how to fix it. That makes me uncomfortable. Maybe that's because I'm still on that learning curve of like, how do we operate in that world? Like,
I will say with this part,
what's this?
what I've found helpful is initially when I first started Vibecoding, I would copy and paste one code block at a time, learn that code block, analyze it, ask questions on what this means, what X, Y, and Z is, what this variable is, what this does for the grand scheme of the project and how it fits into it. After talking with those senior devs, after talking to a lot of classmates or colleagues and other people that are actively using AI to build, I realized that slowed me down significantly. Essentially, I'd be going through hundreds, thousands of lines of code as a non-developer. What I found that is actually more helpful now that I've kind of been a bit more lenient with giving AI reins to build and just let it cook, and I ask questions afterwards. What I've done is essentially ask like, hey, this is kind of the interaction I'm looking for. I've realized that it's not working the way that I want it to. It could be a bug. It could be miscode. Point me in the right direction of our code base of what deals with this section and explain it to me and how it works. And that allows me to continuously learn so that in the future, if I run into a similar problem for that exact same section or a similar type of section, I have a bit more context, a bit more understanding and background on how it works, how it functions. And so I'm able to diagnose it quicker, recognize the fix that we made prior and try to implement that or use that as the baseline. And that way you can retroactively learn as things come up. But I will admit that I haven't been great at learning the code base of my projects in real time anymore. I used to do that at the very beginning, but now I haven't really been doing that. And it's more retroactively figuring it out as feedback comes in, as iterations need to be made, as improvements and updates need to be implemented. So that's something that I will say in how I've been addressing that. Real quick, we're going to go to the left side here and figure out what it's talking about. 2 ways to fill it in: pre-filled, extraction. Okay, so it looks like it made a lot of the things that we wanted it to. Recurring events, making it a recurring event as opposed to duplicating it, removing duplication detection based off of URLs as well as internet scraping, storing the images that are native to the actual event posting, and then a lot of the security checks to make sure that any malicious intent in order to try and tackle our AI model as well as our just product in general are mitigated. So that's great.
Set of tests or rationalization and understanding that we need to have to get comfortable with it. But at first glance, it looks very unfamiliar and very unsettling. So I think engineering over time will evolve to be comfortable with that and have fluency in it and know how to guide new tech and agents and new capabilities to make sure that we feel really good about what the output is.
I wonder what the metaphor is for this, where this, like, I continue to be astounded by how much engineering is transformed in like 2 years. It's like a completely different job now. You used to sit there in an IDE and write code, and now you're just talking to agents and reviewing code and shipping 100 PRs a day.
It feels like it's an acceleration of how much engineering has changed. But if you looked over the last 10 years or 20 years, you would say the same thing.
Mm.
So there's just something that's moving faster, and it's hard to wrap our heads around how quickly it's moved in the past couple of years. But it's not totally unfamiliar that engineering or data science or product would have these big shifts, just like how filmmaking works. If you look over the last 100 years, it's unbelievably different because of technology and new tools that we've brought to it. Just feels like the cycle is speeding up.
Okay, I want to talk about entertainment for a brief moment.
Okay.
I'm curious, just like how entertainment will change over time in the next 5-10 years. Just, today we open up Netflix, check out some shows, watch some videos. It hasn't changed in a while. Just that idea of like, oh, I'm gonna watch The Pit and watch it all. I'm gonna watch a movie. I got TikTok, I got Instagram feeds of stuff. Like, how much different do you think this will be in 5 years? The way we entertain
I think
ourselves?
it's already changing at Netflix. Because entertainment is not going to be one thing in the future, and it's already not one thing now. So part of the reason that we are going beyond film and TV.
Okay, real quick, we have the admin layer in terms of our Vegas This Weekend app. So now I can start inputting events. But what I want to do is I want to adjust the model that it's using, because right now it's using Opus 5. For the model we use for extraction, for the models that we use for extraction, as well as just anything in general for this project internally, do not use Opus 5. I think Sonnet 4.6 is more than enough for what we're trying to accomplish. Maybe Sonnet 5. Let's align on this and then make the appropriate changes. So of what you understand of the context and the capacity that we need for this type of extraction, what model do you think makes the most sense? I'm leaning towards Sonnet 4.6 to reduce costs, as well as it's more than powerful enough to accomplish what we need it to do. And looks like that entire run was 87% of our usage. So we are about to hit our limits. So honestly, once we finish this Netflix interview, podcast episode, and fine tune some of this, we're going to end the stream. It's going to be a slightly shorter stream, but yeah, we got a solid hour and a half, almost 2 hours in. I think that'll be a great stopping point. And I'll showcase the admin portal side too, just so we have documentation of, we had the MVP yesterday, and then now the admin layer today, and then in our following stream and the next stream, we'll go into actually populating the events.
In our offering is because there's an expectation that consumers have of much greater variety across formats, devices, moments of the day, that Netflix needs to be able to serve well in order to meet consumer expectations and hopefully exceed them over time. So when we think about the addition of mobile and TV or cloud games, live content, podcasts, working with a broader set of creators who are now on the Netflix service, all of those things.
That seems too simple. 3 days, you've got a working app. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy what Claude Code can do. But also know that currently the app isn't available to anyone in the public because I haven't launched yet. So internally for me, I have an app that works on my computer in my local environment, but no one is using it right now because I haven't deployed it yet. And so just keep it with a grain of salt, because there's the initial layer of setting up Claude Code and making it so that you can do this. There's 2, actually building out the product and the app. And then finally, it's 3, getting out to the public and getting distribution so people can actually use it and you actually get some feedback and some users. Also, great to see you again, Dice. Hello.
Create a greater breadth of what entertainment is, and Netflix.
What the heck? Oh, now it's telling me it's going to cost X amount of money. I don't think it's going to cost that much. Now to August 31st. Dude, then just use 4.6. Who cares? Well, it's fine. Quad Pro plan. Acquiring that many tokens. Hey dude, yes, there are lots to do, but I think you have a working app in alpha just the same in a few days. Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. You're definitely right in saying that I have a working, functioning application that, as it is right now, after I add in some real events, I'd be more than comfortable and confident to push this out to the public and see what people say. So that is something that is very true. And yeah, with a couple of days, you actually get through the build part. So honestly, technically speaking, I spent the most amount of time building out this product requirements document so far. I probably spent like a day and a half of, pretty legitimate thinking on this. And then obviously a lived experience, a lived problem that I was facing. And then now it's a day and a half, 2 days of actually building the app. It's probably going to be 4 days building the app. And then I'll focus and shift everything to distribution.
Netflix is able to define and expand that. And it puts a higher bar or expectation on how do we make sense of that for a Netflix member. So how do we show you this very seamless journey from I listened to the Bill Simmons podcast to I watch Quarterback because I love that as one of the Netflix offerings in the more, you could say, traditional film or TV space, to I play the most recent FIFA cloud game. And I want to be able to do that on both TV and on my mobile phone, because now I'm on the move and I want to be able to discover or engage with the content at different moments of the day. That's already a journey that we're building into Netflix, which I think will become stronger and stronger over time.
Fascinating.
So
She's literally talking about going back and forth from different platforms, different devices, different locations, and still being able to interact with the Netflix show, movie, TV series, or game. So that's pretty cool. Like if say you're watching a show on TV and then you're on the move and you end up going to like the DMV and you need to wait in line or sit at the waiting room, and then you pull out your phone and resume what you're doing with your TV, game, whatever. Can't you do that already? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can do that where you just hit play again, but it sounds like they're trying to enhance that experience. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but yeah, they're just trying to allow you and give you more opportunities to interact no matter where you are, no matter what device you're on. So it's interesting to see what that'll actually turn into and what that means aside from just resuming your movie. I think she's trying to say more so on higher engagement activities.
So the future of entertainment isn't going to be one thing, and it's going to have to be more personalized, more immersive, more interactive, with this sense of this is a world that I can explore in lots of different directions depending on what I'm looking for in the moment. And the challenge Netflix has is we've got to make discovery and engagement much easier than it feels today. We have tons of content. It can feel very fragmented, especially when you consider all the services or offerings out there. And I think Netflix is very well positioned to understand how to solve that problem across entertainment, product, and tech.
The other element of this is AI, obviously. As an outside observer, it's like so interesting to see how in tech, it's like AI, I love it. It's the future. It's the best. In Hollywood, it's like, no, shut it down.
There's a mix. There's a very wide array. So Netflix's role in this is to enable creators with whatever tools they want to use to bring their vision to life. There are going to be some creators or filmmakers who are on the end of the spectrum that says, absolutely not. No AI. That is not how I do production. It's not consistent with my vision. That's fine. We work with those creators. There's other creators, a growing number of them, I would say, who are very interested in exploring, wait, can these Gen AI tools make something possible that wasn't possible before? Can I tell a story in a new way? Can I make that story higher quality and more resonant for audiences? Can I do things that are extra creative in how I think about bringing a story to life? And we support them as well. And we support all the folks who are in the in-between. I think that's a really important position for us to be in, again, because entertainment is not going to be one thing. There's not going to be one format. I think there's going to be types of film and TV that feel traditional. And then there's going to be entirely new formats that unbelievable creators help to bring to life. And Netflix wants to participate in that, which means we need to have a flexibility in the tools that we provide and the types of partnerships we have, and to really have a creator enablement view rather than a prescriptive, like, we only do this one way.
I think people are going to be surprised by just how good AI content is. Like Spencer Pratt's videos are just like, everyone's like, wow, this is entertaining. Obviously AI, but it's so interesting. Do you think we'll get to a place where it's just like the whole TV shows are AI and people love it?
I have a hard time picturing entertainment that doesn't have humans at the heart of it. So that's humans in the creation of the storytelling, which I think is a scarce and valuable skill. You know, storytelling is one and the same with humanity, and like knowing what connects with people. So I think humans will always be a core part or a critical part of the story. And I think watching characters on screen who don't have that humanity feels less compelling to me. And what the power of storytelling really is, to like see another human and to watch how they perform a role or like bring an emotion to life. That's such a human element. Will AI help to bring that to life? Will it play a material part in some of those productions or how we get them to look and feel a certain way? Yeah, definitely. But I don't see the version of it that doesn't have the human as the backbone.
There's a quote that I think is misattributed to Salman Rushdie, which is when a child is born, they first ask for food and water and protection, and then they ask for, tell me
I think these services need to concentrate on putting out as much content as possible. A lot of these libraries are stale, save a handful of titles. Yeah, I think there's a point there. I mean, I also will say I struggle with watching new Netflix shows, and I kind of what do you call it? Rotate around the same like 4 to 6 titles, and new shows just don't really hit me the same, or I'm not as motivated to watch or stick to them. But on the flip side, like didn't like Netflix spend $1 billion on new content at one point? Netflix. Or some of the streaming services. Streaming services spend billions on it to drive growth, blah, 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 blah. 18 billion. I forget. I feel like when live streaming came out in the past 5 years, one of the streaming services spent like an absurd amount of money on creating in-house content. Maybe it was Apple. But then they pulled back on it significantly because it just wasn't converting into actual revenue.
A story.
It's a thing going back since the beginning of time, that storytelling has been a key part of community and social networks and human feeling and connection. So I love the idea that technology can amplify that and can bring that to life in very new, novel, exciting ways. But to say storytelling wouldn't have that humanity at the center feels like something would be missing.
We're going to see some wild shit over the years coming out.
Oh,
of
I'm
all
sure.
this.
There's no question about that. And a lot of it could be very entertaining. You know, I don't debate that either. But I think there's going to be a broad range. And I think Netflix needs to be at the center of shaping that and bringing that to life, which is our plan.
Amazing. Well, we covered a lot of ground, Elizabeth. Before we get to our very exciting lightning round, is there anything else that you wanted to share, leave listeners with, maybe double down on some things we've talked about?
Yeah, like if you buy a movie and everyone already seen, you're probably not going to get the ROI you want, especially if it's not a popular movie. Yeah, for sure. I mean, all of these are so difficult, and it's so fascinating too, because over the past 5 years, I mean, you've seen it in how quickly movies that launch in theaters go directly to streaming, right? Because all the attention, all the energy is towards streaming. I remember people were so shocked because initially movie theaters would have like, I believe, exclusive rights to show the movie for like the first month of launch, and no one else was allowed to have it. And then all of a sudden, yeah, exactly, because of COVID, because of live streaming, that exclusivity window shrunk little by little. And now movies that launch in theaters, I feel like within 48 hours, I actually see it on streaming services. And it's like, oh, if it's that quick, like, you know, unless it's an amazing movie that everyone's talking about or a specific movie that I absolutely love, I'm probably not going to the theaters for it. And I'll just wait for it on streaming. But yeah, we'll see. That's why not only in movies, but also in sporting events and just a lot of industries, you're starting to see more emphasis on in-person experiences, right? It's like the one from Netflix that I can think of is K-pop Demon Hunters. When that came out, they started having massive events at the theater, right? They were showing karaoke version of K-pop Demon Hunters live in the movie theaters. They have vendors there. They have people selling merch. They have like meet and greets. Like they got all this stuff to make the in-person experience feel more valuable and feel way more entertaining, way more hype, way more engaging. And you're starting to see that with alcohol brands too. I was doing some research on this after I was watching the Phillies baseball team with my dad. And we were talking about how, yeah, we don't see many alcohol commercials anymore during the commercials, during these live sporting events. Rather, we see all the betting apps, but all the alcohol commercials, it was like instead of every other ad being an alcohol commercial, it was pretty much every ad was a betting gambling commercial, and maybe one ad was alcohol. Then I looked it up online, and it said a lot of them are going more for the experiential engagement tactics, where if you're actually at the Phillies game, like Coors Light is going to have a huge activation at the stadium as opposed to spending money on the ads on television. So very interesting how it's shifting for that. But okay, here we go. So we have the links here. We're going to finish this off. We got 6 minutes left of this interview. Then we're going to go through the admin panel that we just created and then showcase the admin panel where what I'll use to populate the app and actual real life events here in Las Vegas. Yeah, I think you're going to see that a lot in the future. In-person experience will become a premium commodity when everything becomes a real artist and actors will become rare. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's already happening. And that's why, like, even IRL streamers, they're getting the benefit of it because, you know, they have the strongest, stickiest audience. Like, if they show up in Las Vegas, all of a sudden there's 200 people following the live stream trying to find out where, you know, iShowSpeed is. Where is Speed in the world? Let me go find him. Like, they don't even have to say they have an event. They just show up and people are following them in flocks, in herds of people, right? And so, yeah, you're going to see that a lot more, like more than ever. In-person events were always great, but now it just seems like the premium because people just crave that a lot more now.
It probably came across throughout, but I would underscore that this is a really exciting time to be building products in entertainment. Everything we
Facts.
talked about of like what's changing in the tech and consumers and like what is entertainment, we're at this unbelievable high velocity innovation period. So it's what keeps me at Netflix. I think it's a fun place to be. I would be missing something if I didn't reinforce that I think that's true. I also think that as an industry, we spend a lot of time sometimes talking about the pure tech or the capability, and we sort of lose the forest for the trees. We're trying to build great consumer products that people love. We're trying to make great entertainment that people love, and it's their favorite thing. That I don't want that to be lost in. Of course, there's amazing tech and product stuff that sits underneath, but in the end, the thing that's most inspirational is what do we bring to people around the world?
And along those lines, there's been such a the opposite of glut, a drought of new consumer products, consumer experiences. Like there's very few success, like almost no consumer startup works. And AI feels like an opportunity for something else to work. And I feel like Netflix is one of the rare companies and brands that continues to deliver an awesome consumer product and business. There's just not that many of them.
Yeah, we're
So,
going
good
to try
job.
to keep that up.
Well, with that, we've reached our very exciting lightning round. I've got 5 questions for you. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What are 2 or 3 books that you find yourself recommending most to other people?
I have to come up with different books than I said last time.
I don't remember
but
the word,
I-
but
I
that
s-
sounds great.
I still like a good throwback. So 2 that are coming to my mind, Into Thin Air, John Krakauer, and Liar's Poker, Michael Lewis. So I worked on Wall Street, and I like reminding people what it was like in the way back time.
Favorite recent movie or TV show you really enjoyed, which is maybe too hard for someone working at Netflix, but I'm curious what comes out.
The list is very long. The most recent I watched, Remarkably Bright Creatures, after a recommendation from my mom. It's a tearjerker. Talk about the human part of storytelling.
Favorite product you recently discovered that you really love?
Critical for my health and well-being, 8 Sleep.
Do you have a favorite life motto that you often come back to in work or in life?
I often go back to the things that my parents instilled in me in very early times. So the risk of repeating maybe first, something good happens every day. Watch for it, even in the most stressful times. And second, that the last 5% of effort usually makes all the difference.
These are awesome. They hit me. Final question. I don't know anything about this, but you mentioned you're doing some kind of cycling event.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what's going on. What are you doing here?
So my husband and I are doing a trip where we ride alongside the Tour de France for the last week of the race.
Bro, that's crazy.
So the tour is 3 weeks. The
That's
last week
awesome.
has a lot of mountain stages. So we get to ride part of the route each morning and then watch the race in the afternoon.
That's pretty
Not
cool.
for the faint of heart. So I'm trying to train up so I can enjoy those rides. It's supposed to be vacation after all.
That's
My
pretty
God,
awesome.
I love this vacation. We're just gonna race. So is
I
it like
love
a race?
cycling. I love
Yeah.
professional sports. It's fun to be able to participate in it.
So is this like racing, or you just kind of try to go as nonchalantly through the course,
You go nonchalantly,
but still
but I
very
think
hard?
I mentioned, yeah,
A lot of hills.
it's physically and mentally challenging, and it's not a race, but I don't want to be at the back of the pack, so I got to be comfortable enough to hold my own.
Wow, I love how different this is from your job, and it feels like
It's
something we all
good.
need.
It's a good balance, and it
Mm.
gets me outdoors and gives me some nice perspective. So I'm looking forward to it.
Elizabeth, you are awesome. Two final questions. Where can folks find you online if they want to follow you, reach out for maybe anything that came up? And how can listeners be useful to you?
The best place to find me and some of the work we're doing or reach out is the Netflix tech blog, actually, where we're putting a lot of things that I've been talking about up there. We're trying to do a better job communicating about the fun stuff we're working on. So that's a good first stop, usually. And then how listeners can be useful, try all the new stuff that we're putting out there. Watch the live events, play the games, have fun with the new vertical video feed that we have on mobile called Clips. Send us feedback. So we want to make it better. And a lot of usually. And then how listeners can be useful, try all the new stuff that we're putting out there. Watch the live events, play the games, have fun with the new vertical video
games.
feed
I
that we
haven't
have
looked at the
on
vertical
mobile
feed
called
on
Clips. Send us feedback.
Finally, they put in clips though. I've been saying that for so long.
So we want to make it better. And a lot of these things are new 0 to 1 efforts for us. So we're trying to get to great and excellent as quickly as possible.
I love that the homework is go watch Netflix, and
You can also watch other things. Tell us how we can be
Savage.
better. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in how can we be better at Netflix.
I love it. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
and being here again.
Thank you for having me. Always fun.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you so much
All
for
right,
listening.
so we just concluded that in-depth Netflix deep dive, learned so much about Interpositive, their acquisition they made in March of Ben Affleck's post-production AI-assisted filmmaking platform. We learned about the mistake Netflix made on what's called launching lives and learning very quickly from that, and how that is the ethos of Netflix to break things, learn fast, and get back on the horse, being at the forefront, really embracing AI and letting their top performers and all of their employees utilize it in the way they see best fit, as opposed to forcing it across the board, rather allowing for the individuals to have the autonomy, the responsibility. Really cool conversation with Elizabeth Stone and Lenny. Never heard of Lenny before this, but I definitely like his interview style. I think he asked some great questions, was really empathetic, and really locked into the interview itself and asking deeper questions that got past the surface. So I definitely think I'm going to be listening to Lenny a bit more. Now we're going to shift gears over to the Vegas build. It's going to be pretty quick here. We're essentially just going to go through the admin panel and what was created today, and then walk through it a little bit. Probably going to spend another 10 minutes or so on it, maybe 15. And then we're just going to end the stream. I know it's a shorter one, but I feel like, I don't know about you, but I for sure, my mental capacity is a bit maxed out after dissecting that interview, taking in all that great information. And then, we make progress. This is the admin panel, and then next steps, we'll figure it out as we go. But let me turn on some music, and then let's get on with the show here. All right, cool. Are you stuck on the name Vegas this weekend? I kind of am, because I already bought the website name for it. So that's probably why I'm stuck on it. But I don't know. Do you have suggestions? The main point is really you need to get a domain. And if you don't get the .com domain, it's really difficult to make something happen, you know? All right, so let's see here. I'm trying to find the login for my admin. Got it. Yo, this is sick. Okay, guys, this is actually insane. I love this so much. All right, check this out. Vegas tonight. I'm just thinking this weekend doesn't match what you're offering. Yeah, I mean, I tried Vegas tonight. That was Vegas tonight. Yeah, I'll literally show you how much that domain costs. This is so annoying when it comes to trying to purchase a domain. All the good ones, they're either taken or someone took it and is trying to sell it at an extreme premium. Watch this. Insane. I spent 40 minutes trying to get a domain. I'm not even kidding. Look at this. I'm about to blow. Actually, first, guess how much the domain Vegas tonight costs. Guess how much someone is charging for you to own it. Own the domain vegastonight.com. Everybody guess. 4K? I'll give you 3 guesses. You got 4K. Who else? I don't think anyone else is in the chat, but nonetheless, I'll give you 2 more guesses. You're not correct. 4K is not right. Also, this song is a bit too dark sounding. I don't like it. Oh. Dude, this is all funk music, bro. More? 20K? All right. It's not 20K. Last guess. What's your third guess here, Dice? I do like funk, but I only like it when I'm working out. Like, it's just too hardcore for, like, trying to build something on the internet, you know? 56K. All right, so you were closest on your second guess. Second guess was closest. Watch this. Vegas tonight. $15,000, bro. $15,000 for that URL. And the craziest thing is no one actually is using this. This is what I hate about the domain and website community. No one is using it, bro. They literally buy it or they don't, or it's not somebody bought it. It's Namecheap or GoDaddy or all these companies that are just holding it. They're like, oh, we know for a fact this is going to be selling for a premium, so we're just going to hoard it, not sell it to anyone, and charge a ridiculous number for it. Ridiculous. I get it. Like, I know people are spending thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on some of the best website domains. I get it. But it's just like, bro, how long has this been open? Like, if it's longer than 10 years and no one's used this URL, like, come on, bro. Just let someone buy it, man. Just let somebody buy it, brother. Or, okay, technically I could make an offer. No, their minimum is 12K. I can't even make an offer. Guys, I'm not putting 12K in for that. But yeah, it's either somebody bought it or, you know what? Actually, we can check who is. Okay. So this is a site that you use to look up the information on domains. So I'm going to type in vegastonight.com and it's going to tell me who owns it, if anybody. Yeah, bro. Yeah, so I think what this tells me is domainsbyproxy.com is who owns it, which is probably like some conglomerate. Who is this? Oh, no, this... Yeah, okay, so it's probably GoDaddy. Yeah, they probably just staked their domain and just never... They removed it. Ridiculous. Regardless, I'm not paying for that. But let's check out the admin panel that we just created. So, here we are. I'll zoom in just a little bit. So this is the admin panel that only I can see because I have the admin token. But from here, I can either put in a URL Right now I can't because I haven't added my Anthropic API key, which AI would be used to scrape the actual URL and extract all the event details. But what I can do is type in the event name, the venue, the neighborhood, the start time, end time, category, price tier, price detail. I'm also going to add a category that says sober. That is one note that I want to add. So let's go back to our code base. Oh, snap. Oh, that was so dumb. I did give the key. It's okay. It's okay. I won't clip it, I promise. It's all good. It's also just the admin key for my local environment. So it would only work if you have my local, if you're on my local build. So it's fine. Yeah. It's not something that's too crazy, but I also, actually real quick, I'm going to look at what else was on that page to make sure nothing else. Dude, that's like the number one thing you should not do is show your keys. And I just showed all of my keys. Okay. Yeah. I haven't added any keys to anything yet. So this is totally bare. It's totally fine. Nice. Oh, man. That's so funny. I'm going to hack you. Dude, go for it, brother. Okay. So, yeah, I'm adding a note right now because I want to add new filters that say fitness as well as sober because a lot of people don't want to do activities that involve soberness, or they don't want to, or they want to involve themselves with fitness activities. So I want to add that in. That's a growing trend here in Vegas for sure. Yeah. And this is good because we only have about 9% left of our rate limits. So this is a great place to stop. But real quick, as this runs, I'm going to make sure that this is finished. Okay, sweet. Let's get back to the admin panel here. Probably a filter for accessibility too for wheelchairs. For sure. I actually love that. I think what that could be, rather than its own filter, it's probably just like a kind of like when you book Airbnbs, you know how they have all the amenities and it says like wheelchair accessible or something. It's probably going to be like that in the actual details of the event pages. But that's a great call. Thank you. All right, so going back to the admin panel for adding events, we have the categories, we have the price tier, we have the price detail, the hook for the one-liner on the card, the description, URL for the ticket, image URL, source URL, video URL. This is all great. I love this. And then I could save the event. Yeah, then you have the full list of events. Here are the fake ones that we created yesterday during our MVP process. I love this so much. This is very easy to use for me, at least. You can edit it directly. And then insider tips. Yeah, I can add in insider tips. Shown in an expanded card when the venue or category matches. Okay, very cool. So if I have a specific venue or a category, I have a specific tip that maybe a local knows or something that people should be aware of. And then currently music, outdoor amphitheater shows in summer stay hot, well past sunset. Lawn seating on the east side loses direct sun first. 21 and over room cards at the door every time. No exceptions for groups. Physical ID moves faster than a phone wallet. Mornings are the only comfortable window for outdoor. Okay, so yeah, I love this. These are local tips. Yeah, this is great. This is what I wanted. It's like, what are some additional tips that I can add in to make the experience better for those using the platform that also might be visiting that might not understand or might not know? So yeah, I love this. This is great. So yeah, over the course of a 50-minute, probably closer to hour and a half session from yesterday, we were able to get the MVP for the product. And then right now, we just got the admin panel so that I could actually start filling in events. Next step, our next live stream, I'm not sure if it's going to be today or tomorrow or the day after. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm leaning more towards Thursday, but during the next live stream, we'll implement some of the feedback changes that I have personally. Then we'll actually fill in some real events, and then we'll actually get this deployed in the public domain so people can actually start playing around with it. So that's the next steps that we have. I'm really pumped up for this, and I really appreciate you guys being here for it. Dice, are you going to include a rating review function for users? Eventually, I definitely will. But again, the point right now is you don't want to spend too much time building. As you saw, within 2 days, I was able to get essentially a working app out there. And now in day 3, I want to have this deployed by day 3. The hardest part is actually going to be sourcing the events and manually doing that for the first, for like this weekend. But that's going to be the biggest barrier, and I think I can do it. So within 3.5, 4 days, I've built an actual product. You want to get it in front of people. That is the biggest thing that you want to do. I think afterwards, maybe I'll start doing like reviews or ratings that can be sourced from like the venues. Say, for example, you're at a casino. Say it's like the Wynn Casino. I can pull the Google reviews and the Google star rating and pull it into my app. But the only issue with that is it's not event specific, it's venue specific. So I'll have to figure out where to go with that. But ratings and reviews is definitely on the roadmap. Jay Query, cool. Hey, Jay, great to see you. Thanks for joining in. Love that you appreciate this and that this looks good for you. I'm pumped too. Very cool. I feel like you can get an agent to do that. Yeah, I could probably get an agent. There's a lot of things I can get an agent to do, but the other issue is just because you can have an agent doesn't necessarily mean you need to go out and build it. Sometimes it's really just faster and easier to just do it yourself. And that's the thing where people get too excited about AI and they try to AIify everything or agentify everything. It's like, not everything needs an agent. Not everything needs AI. Sometimes you just need a Zapier automation. Sometimes you just need to do it manually. And it saves you time, costs, effort, brain power. So just another thing. But are you also streaming on another platform other than YouTube? Yeah. So I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So I'm responding to a guy in our community named Dice, and he's on Twitch. And jQuery, you're on YouTube. I'm currently using Restream.io, which is a platform that allows me to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. And I see both of the chats. Yeah, I think next time maybe I'll try to work on getting the Restream chat on the live screen so that you guys can actually see who's talking from what platform. But yeah, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Really appreciate everyone that joined. I hope you guys found some value. I hope you found some value in the interview that we went through, looking at Netflix and how they're approaching AI and how they're building, what they're excited for at the cross-section of technology, entertainment, and engagement experiences for viewers. And I hope you appreciated the build that we're building. This is only day 2 of building this Las Vegas app, and I'm really excited for it because at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one that's using it, and hopefully other people do too. But it's cool to share this, answer your questions, and build alongside you guys. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to be live streaming again either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm leaning towards Thursday. So there's that. I don't have any notifications or anything like that set up. I'll probably need to get those set up eventually, but for now, we're just gonna raw dog it. Okay, we're just going straight to Twitch and YouTube. So make sure to hit that bell, the like, the comment, or whatever gets you the notification so that when I do go live, you guys get the notification and can join in. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Dice, you're the GOAT. Appreciate you joining this journey. jQuery, welcome to the community. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Have a good one. See, dude, have a good one. Thank you, Dice. Thank you. jQuery, thank you. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. yeah, I don't know what the sign off is, but we're out. Stay safe, stay you. That's actually how I used to sign off. Bye, everyone. I also don't have an outro. Wait, is this an outro? Oh, no. That's an outro for something else. Don't look at that. That was for a previous stuff, but all right. I'm going to stop talking. Later, everybody.